Hello everyone, welcome to Diplomatic Briefing. The September 3rd military parade is still a global hot topic, and the reaction from the Western world is worth noting. On September 4th, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, while attending a defense summit organized by the International Institute for Strategic Studies, IISS, in Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic, claimed that China and Russia are stepping up preparations in their defense industries for what he called a long-term confrontation. He said that NATO is facing a severe and enduring threat, and that China and Russia are making large-scale investments to build and modernize their militaries. Their defense industries are producing weapons and heavy military equipment at an astonishing speed. Stoltenberg further hyped that this military parade was not just a display of military strength, but an active effort to exert influence and attempt to reshape the global order. He claimed that the freedom and security of NATO countries are being undermined and that the challenges NATO faces are not limited to Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, whose defense industry cooperation is deepening to an unprecedented level. He said he is particularly concerned about the speed at which China is building warships, as this pace far exceeds the shipbuilding capabilities of the United States and Europe. He said the number of active Chinese naval vessels already surpassed that of the United States, and the U.S. shipbuilding speed simply cannot keep up with China's pace. On September 4th, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun pointed out that China invited foreign guests to attend events in China to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese people's war of resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. The purpose is to join hands with peace-loving countries and peoples to remember history, honor martyrs, cherish peace, and create a better future. China's development of diplomatic relations with any country has never been targeted at any third party. The September 3rd Grand Military Parade, this magnificent commemorative event, has attracted widespread international attention, with media outlets from all over the world reporting on it. Among them, the New York Times wrote in its headline that this parade sends a message: China will no longer be subject to others' expectations. The New York Times also mentioned that many leaders from Southeast Asian and Central Asian countries attended the event. This event, together with the recently concluded Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin, highlights China's success in strengthening regional partnerships. The American journal Foreign Affairs published a commentary by an Indian scholar, summarizing it as follows. The author said that as the PLA formations marched and weapons rumbled by, the center of gravity of global geopolitics shifted to Tiananmen Square. China's military parade is both a tribute to the past and a roadmap for the future. The article in Foreign Affairs analyzes that the lineup of countries gathered from the Tianjin summit to the Tiananmen parade shows a difference from the security polarization of the Cold War era between NATO and the Warsaw Pact. Nowadays, China's approach emphasizes building flexible, trade-oriented partnerships, a network that lacks formal alliances and partnerships, but still has enormous political symbolic significance. It signals a global realignment of power, where the focus of this realignment is no longer on treaties, but rather on influence, connectivity, and ideological proximity. An editorial in the mainland's Global Times summarized that the front pages of almost all major global media were dominated by images of China's September 3rd military parade. Media outlets in Asia, Africa, and Latin America used words like stunning, grand, and historic to describe this commemorative event. Even established Western media outlets like the BBC and the New York Times featured images of China's September 3rd military parade on their homepages or as front-page photos. News agencies such as Reuters and the Associated Press published extensive photo essays and in-depth reports. The editorial believes that behind this kind of media response lie two fundamental consensuses forming within the international community. The first is that the technological level of the weaponry and equipment of China's military in the new era, its performance and the systemic and strategic advancements it reflects, have all achieved a leapfrog development. The second consensus is that a prosperous and thriving new China now stands resolutely in the East, and the Chinese people have never been as grounded, determined, bold, and confident as they are today. The September 3rd military parade allowed the world to see both China's firm commitment to peaceful development and its strong capability to use force to stop war. China demonstrates both a broad-minded vision to engage with the world and a steadfast will to uphold justice. To summarize simply, first, even the highly biased mainstream Western media cannot deny China's strength. Second, from the reactions of American and Western leaders, it is clear that they are truly anxious. The pace of China's military rise seems to have exceeded their expectations. Apart from criticizing through the lens of China-Russia relations, they have no better way to delay their response. Observers from the mainland's Guangzhou website also noted that under the live video feed from the Associated Press, many netizens from various countries left comments, and basically these comments all gave high praise to this military parade. A single live video has already surpassed 1.69 million views, with over 12,000 comments. One netizen claimed to be a former U.S. Navy boot camp commander, and he believed that the tremendous effort put into organizing and executing this parade demonstrated a level of precision and an almost superhuman feat, which deeply impressed him. He said that, in fact, judging by how spectacular this was, he is certain that the U.S. military simply could not pull off something like this. The parade couldn't even come close to that level. A netizen from Rwanda, Africa, said that no one could love China's national anthem as much as he does. He said it was so moving. As an African from Rwanda, he has never been influenced by the kind of anti-China propaganda spread by Western media. He said he admires China's history and civilization, and now China seems like an ideal country to him. Looking at this parade, the organization and arrangements were meticulous, and the movements were so precise that they were astonishing. A Vietnamese netizen said that as a Vietnamese citizen, watching the Chinese military parade deeply moved him and left a profound impression. The parade was grand and magnificent in scale, the troops were highly disciplined and united, and he couldn't help but be amazed. This fully demonstrated China's strength and extraordinary achievements in development. With such a solid foundation, Zhang Xin believes that China will surely move towards an even higher stage of development, bringing pride to the Chinese people and making positive contributions to the region and the world. He wishes the Chinese people continued prosperity and the country increasing strength, and also wishes for lasting friendship between Vietnam and China. In addition, many netizens also believe that this parade is a reflection of China's comprehensive strength, and they recognize China's system and international influence. A British netizen commented that he has been to many European countries, lived in the United States, and now resides in China. He said he doesn't understand why all the leaders of the Western world are the way they are. If you want to see what safety is, what innovation is, and what real development looks like, stop believing the Western media's nonsense. Come to China yourself, observe with your own eyes, and then form your own judgment. Whether you are willing to admit it or not, China is the future. On this point, he has no doubts. A Brazilian netizen left a comment saying, "I believe China is the real leader of the world. Leadership is not measured by military power or economic coercion, but by the ability to promote cooperation, foster mutual respect among businesses, and build bridges of communication between countries. Through dialogue, policy, infrastructure investment, and the pursuit of shared prosperity, China has consistently demonstrated a constructive, inclusive, and forward-looking approach." As for leadership, he believes that in contrast, the United States is increasingly relying on outdated hegemonic tactics, such as weaponizing the US dollar and flaunting military power. Is this really in the name of defending democracy? Such actions cannot unite the world. Instead, they divide it. They cannot build trust. Instead, they breed resentment. They cannot create sustainable development. Instead, they perpetuate dependency and the current state of inequality. A netizen from Mexico also expressed sincere admiration, saying that China possesses the world's most moral, disciplined, and powerful armed forces, while always adhering to moral principles. China is the true world leader. For thousands of years, China has influenced many countries with its own civilization. Some netizens also pointed out that it's fortunate China is a peace-loving country. Back when Britain or the United States accounted for 30% of the world's industrial output, they had already spent decades launching invasions around the globe. They hope that the most peaceful country will be the one to master the most advanced technology. Another comment also mentioned, people all over the world, please think about it. If Western countries or Japan possessed such military power and accounted for such a percentage of the world, what would happen? If they had 35% of the world's industrial capacity, how would they use that military power? Once you think this through, you'll understand just how much China loves peace. This country hasn't fought a war in over 40 years. There were also some foreign netizens who directly left comments in Chinese to express their admiration for this military parade, and they also expressed hope to build a friendship with China. A Serbian netizen said they wanted to extend warm congratulations to the People's Republic of China, saying, We have been allies since 1945, we are still allies now, and we will continue to be allies in the future because we stand on the side of kindness, justice and peace. There was also a netizen from Brazil who said, Brazil sends hugs to our Chinese friends. For many years, you have always been the best allies of South America and Latin America. Thank you very much for your hard work, sacrifice and prosperity. Another Brazilian netizen said, I am from Brazil and I want to travel to China. It makes me feel very proud to see comments from netizens in different countries. First of all, you'll notice that netizens have a broader perspective than their politicians. The second thing you'll find is that many netizens from the global south express deep admiration for China. This is exactly the key point that Western politicians should reflect on the most. Their halo is indeed fading. The September 3rd military parade has only accelerated this issue coming to the surface, allowing more people to see things clearly.